Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Hockey House. You may know from the popular hockey website, thehockeyhouse.net. I'm Steve Ellis.
I wasn't born with this hair. I'm Brendan Saunders.
That is a weird statement.
Well, it's true. I wasn't born with this hair. It just grew on me.
Well, speaking of hair, we do have a guy who's got slightly different hair than you on the
does?
show. He has been on the show before, and he's an expert for the OJHL. Welcome, Jamie Neugebauer. How are you doing?
Whoa!
Oh, thank you for having me. It's a big honor to be on here.
Yes, with the same hair?
With the same hair, yeah.
We modeled our game after each other.
Hair,
Yes, you got hair right here, though. So, anyways, Jamie joined us last year on the show to talk about the OJHL, and considering he does everything, actually, do you want to kind of run off what you do?
So I work for 4 teams in the league. 3 of them are in the South. One of them is the Oakville Blades, the North York Rangers, the Toronto Patriots, and the Newmarket Hurricanes. So I do the broadcasting for them. I do the website, social media, video work, and whatnot for the North York Rangers, and I also do the website for the Toronto Patriots. So I don't have too many nights free, that's for sure.
Yeah, do you watch hockey?
On occasion.
Yeah, just when you kind of have some free time.
When I have some time.
Yeah, he watches hockey, obviously, a lot. OJHL is a great league, the Ontario Junior Hockey League. If you've never been to a Junior A game, it's right below the OHL, but it's a good place for a lot of guys to go and potentially look at maybe an OHL career later, or going to CIS hockey, or actually now it's called U Sports. And then,
and even in the NHL, we saw Zach Hyman, former Hamilton Red Wing.
Yep. But we also have the option of going to the NCAA, so that's a really good path. Now, I know we both get to watch a lot of South Division games. Who's good in the South Division, considering that's the one that's kind of local to here, and it's like the Toronto area, you got Mississauga in there, Oakville, a bunch of other teams.
Yeah, the best team right now is the St. Michael's Buzzers, and a lot of that obviously has to do with all the talent that they have. It's most hockey teams do that.
Well, they did have to rebuild a lot of the players from last year, too.
Well, certainly, but I think one way that they rebuilt was they brought in Cosimo Lazzarino, who was in Junior B last year with the Kitchener Dutchman, and he has been absolutely sensational. He's an all-star. And of course, they have a core that's been together for a number of years now. Like, this is their 3rd year of their rebuilding project, and based around guys like Cameron Wright, Cam Searles, and AJ Durazio, Finn Evans. They have a lot of weapons up front. They can score. Their D knows what they're good at. They try to keep it simple for the most part, outside of Mark Paulini, who's a tremendously skilled offensive defenseman. But overall, they're well balanced, and they're deep, and they look like a strong hockey team right now.
And although I know the one thing you did say before was anyone in this division can pretty much win a game, and we've seen that before. It's going to be fun to see how Oakville and North York play against each other. And I know you've got don't you have a bowl named after you that you just created for yourself?
Well, it's obviously a bit of a joke. When teams that I work for play against each other, I like to joke saying it's a Noogie Bowl, because my last name is Neugebauer, and some people call me Noogie as a nickname. So a Noogie Bowl, but I've tried to create other ones, but it's just a little fun.
Does the winner get a Noogie?
No, though I had a coach a couple of years ago say that the winning team should all get candy bars or something like that for me, at least. So I guess I've been considering that for a number of years.
Now, Jamie, so we were talking about the South. What is a buzzer, first of all? Does anybody know?
It comes from the fact that they're the Junior Bs, so they used to just be called the St. Mike's Bs, and they changed it because a bee. What does a bee do? Like, they buzz, right? So they changed it just for the letter B, just to straight buzzers. So that's sort of where it came from.
But speaking of the Junior A, not only in the South, but there are 2 teams not in the South who are pretty much powerhouses all the way through the lineup. I know you have some opinions on their goalie, but I'm saying Coburg, Trenton. They meet right now in the conference final. Who's got the edge?
It's hard to pick between them. They're 2 tremendous teams, and I'm sure they'll continue to add as the deadline approaches in early January too. But I'm always going to take the team with the better goalie in a 7-game series, and Coburg has the best goalie. Steph Durante is the best goalie in the league. He's been in this league for a long time. He was the humanitarian of the league last year, and a great young man. Worked extremely hard at his craft. Got even better at one thing that got better. I was talking to one of Coburg's defensemen was puck handling, and his D are much happier with his puck handling.
That's always good.
But no, he is absolutely tremendous. The best goalie in this league by a country mile, in my opinion. And
uncommitted,
so I'll take. Yeah, he's uncommitted, but it's hard for 20-year-old goaltenders in the OJHL and even 19-year-old goaltenders, because for the most part they're trying to get into Division I NCAA hockey by that point, and then they're competing with 16, 17-year-old USHLers. So it's tough, but he's great.
Yeah, the one thing about goalies is better goalies are usually the older ones. Anyways, we're going to go to break. We come back and we're going to talk a bit more about some other OJHL players that we think are really good, and see how that goes. Welcome back to the Hockey House with me, Brendan, and Jamie. I know you check out stats all day long, and I go to all the games, and you obviously go to all the games. What players should we be looking out for right now? Anywhere in the league, basically.
Hey, I could talk all day about Cameron Wright, who just committed to Bowling Green State University. He's a guy that protects the puck as well as anybody in this league. He's putting up huge numbers for St. Mike's, and the thing that makes him the best, of course, or his best skill anyways, is his intelligence. He knows where the soft spots in the zone are. He's just a lot of fun to watch. I love watching Cam Wright. I know I've talked about the Buzzers quite a lot in this game, but they're a good team, and so they deserve it. Yeah, no, there's a lot of players I could go into, but
well, that's the point. I want to know more.
Yeah, well, if I was to pick somebody from the other division, I would have to say Brennan Roy from Coburg. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's a defenseman, probably the best offensive defenseman in the league. One of my best. A good friend of mine in the league. His name is Louis DiMatteo. He plays for Trenton, and he's up there as well.
Why do you like him?
I don't know. I don't know. I used to work with him, but. Brennan Roy is as smooth as they come. He's a smooth customer. He's a lot of fun to watch. He's got a big shot too, and he's got talent around him. So he's always putting up big numbers, point per gamer as a defenseman last year in the league, and he's back as a 20-year-old. So, what else is there to say about him?
Well, actually, Jamie, I wanted to ask you about two players in particularly, and actually a team also. I'll start with the team. So, as we've seen in the OHL, London has become the London Knights, and of course they attract everyone because they get all these guys drafted to the NHL. Now, keeping it locally. And just because Bryce Missley has a chance this year, as well as Matt Kellenberger, Ian Blacker, former Blade. Last year we saw Kudla. The year before that we saw Matt Spencer and Matt Loof just recently signed with LA. And maybe even Evan Bouchard next year. Now you talk to these guys, you know these guys. Is that a draw in when you see a team that's having all of the success, NHL draft, and getting picked in the NHL? Is that a key in for guys?
Like knowing that like instead of playing a lot of minutes, you're going to play on a winning team.
Yeah, and a good team that's going to teach you stuff.
Yeah, no, I think a responsible young man heading into the OJHL or any league should know all the reasons why they're heading to a specific team, and certainly the biggest draw for the Oakville Blades organization is the amount of commitments that kids are getting heading into college. Of course, another one today to St. Lawrence University. That's Jeff Clark, who he's going to join last year's captain Ryan Garvey at that fine institution. So certainly, NHL attention and stuff like that is important. But a lot of the young men in this league are either trying to get playing time from their OHL teams or they're trying to get scholarships at the next level. And so having a reputation like Oakville does of having kids move on will one, build you a great team, because usually the best players will be looking for high, Division I scholarships, and two, it'll get those players, to play hard all year, and that's always a tricky thing. But winning at this level is big for the organization, and a lot of kids do love to win, obviously. But the most important thing is development and moving on.
Well, that is a good point. Like playing with a team that wins and playing in a winning atmosphere is fantastic, especially for a young guy. But to play devil's advocate, what about if you let's say Will Roski right now is playing great and he's getting a lot of playing time. We saw Ben Blacker before his planned move to go to the USHL. He was incredible in Milton. And we've seen let's say particularly Mississauga and Milton, where they haven't been championship contending teams, but you'll get some pretty good players going there and getting a lot of ice time and a lot of chances to be the leader and become a next a star type player. Do you think that's a good move too?
Yeah, no, look, I think you if you're a young man and you want to play hockey at the junior A level, I think you make your own situation work. If you're good enough, they'll find you. If you have the tools, they'll find you. If you have the character, you have the tools on the ice, then they'll find you. It doesn't matter what team you play for and how far your team goes in the league. Obviously, the more games you can play by going farther in the playoffs, the more eyes will be looking at you. But maybe Will Roski goes, to a Trenton or a Coburg or an Oakville or wherever and doesn't get as much playing time, and we're not talking about him right now. So, it certainly is working out for Will Roski. He's getting a lot of pucks in a certain particular type of situation that's working for him clearly. But I think the excuse is made that I'm on a bad team, yada yada. But you make the situation that you're in, and if you're good enough, they'll find you.
Yeah, it's we've seen that with a couple other good players over the last couple of years. Vince Figlameni, Mississauga. We've seen that with Evan Beithuis in Oakville. It works either way. I don't know if there's a specific better option. Anyways, that's all for the OJHL today. We're going to go to break, and we come back. We're going to talk about the NHL and specifically the Toronto Maple Leafs. welcome back to the Hockey House. So we were talking about the OJHL. Now we're going to talk about another team with players who also are actually kind of OJHL eligible still.
Yes.
There are some alumni, but some of these guys are still actually eligible to play.
It's true.
So let's talk about the Toronto Maple Leafs. And we've talked about them before, but we've now gotten a fair assessment of how the team is, I think, early on. We've seen Frederick Anderson kind of improve his play, and we've seen the young stars kind of take over, except for Nazem Kadri, who's getting older, but he's been playing really well too. A couple guys that I want to, what are your overall thoughts right now? I'll start with you, Brendan.
Oh, okay.
Of the big three prospects, being Marner, Nylander, and Matthews.
Well, no, I think, as we go back in time, the old Brendan Saunders tapes, I said Marner's going to be the best player in the draft, out of his draft. I know even better than McDavid if he develops. And he's got to develop. I know you're rolling your eyes, Jamie, but I'm telling you right now, under pressure situations, you don't want Matt Sundin Jr. playing for your team. He's going to not score, and then in 20 years he's going to go, I could have got traded, but then I didn't, and now I'm going to Vancouver.
Well, speaking of the Leafs, Jay Shagir played in net for for their...
So did Martin Brion.
For the other team, yeah, that was
but I guess, they're doing well point wise. The one thing I have an issue for is I know people don't like plus minus, but man, they are getting slaughtered. And Martin especially, he's a -7 at this point, and he's a centerman. And I'm just saying right now, as rookies, you can give them a bye. You can say they're playing guys who are 5, 10, 15, 20 years older. Theo Jaromir Jagr, 100 years older than the 18-year-olds and 19-year-olds. But you gotta try to clean up the minus getting scored on right now, because you don't do it now. Why would you do it next year? Why would you do 2 years? Why would you do it 10 years from now? They've got a lot of skill, and they can be great forwards who score a lot of points. But if you're not good offensively, especially with a horrible defense, that defenseman, I'm going to stake an English word, that defenseman is horrid.
You don't like Roman Polak?
Well, his name sounds very manly, but his defensive play is awful. The good news is they have great prospects. They have Nelson is a great guy in the Marlies. They have Dermott. They have Valiev. Some good guys coming up, but with a defense that awful and goaltending that can be shaky at times, they need guys to really play a good 200-foot game. I almost said 2 foot, and that's what they're playing right now. No, they're great offensively, but if they don't have the center who's the straight line player, and by that I mean pick up the guy coming back, go in front of the net. You don't have to do anything else. Your wingers will handle everything. Just don't be, I know people are going to say, but they've got to win faceoffs. I would throw faceoffs out the window if you can just be straight line. This is it. Straight line center. But yes, that's my opinion on the big three. They're good, but they need to work on some stuff.
All right, Mr. Jamie. What are your thoughts?
You have a beard.
Well, I do have a beard. I think the Leafs are a work in progress. I think Mike Babcock has a pretty new bunch of players again to work with. These guys are all adapting to Mike Babcock. Forget about him adapting to them too.
Yeah, now he's got to do it again.
He's got to do it again. So it's a team that's a work in progress. Obviously, you mentioned Marner being a minus. He's actually quite a good defensive forward in my opinion, and I think the defense.
He was a plus 45 in
the
junior.
defense struggles. Yeah, he was on London. They won 10-0 a lot of games. But my point is that he was playing with a D that struggled at times, and earlier in the year, Frederick Anderson struggled. So you don't take plus minus that big into consideration at this point in the season, in my opinion. I think the Leafs are going to be just fine, and I think it's the first year of this sort of real journey that we're on. Last year was the journey to get Austin Matthews, and this year is the first year to start playing some hockey, and I think
what a novel concept.
Yeah, it's a novel concept, but it's been fun to watch, and the Leafs are just going to continue to improve under Mike Babcock and company.
Well, see, here's a question for you. So we had Ryerson University broadcaster Victor Finley on the show earlier, and we debated on who the best Danish goalie is. I know you like international hockey. Please just say it's Frederick Anderson. It's not Sebastian Dahm. I know Sebastian Dahm's good. He said George Sorensen was the best.
Well, no, I mean, obviously it's Frederick Anderson.
Yes.
He's...
There you go, Victor.
Why else would Denmark pick him for their Olympic qualifying
They should have picked me.
I wish they didn't pick him, to be honest.
Was Sorensen not the backup?
Oh, I don't really know, but the point is I wish they didn't pick him so they didn't get hurt, so they didn't miss some time in training camp, so he didn't start the year like a piece of garbage, which, again, I'm not blaming for, but it's hard when you don't have training camp. When everybody else is at the World Cup or training camp or preseason, coming up, trying to catch up to speed. But he's a phenomenal goaltender, and Leafs Nation is gonna like him soon.
He's a good goalie, and a lot of people are saying
I wouldn't use the word phenomenal.
He's barely an improvement from a guy like Jonathan Brind'Amour. He's a much better goalie than Jonathan Brind'Amour.
Well, Jonathan Brind'Amour had some good games too, and James Reimer was fantastic, but everyone bagged on him. It's like Frederick Anderson's no better. They kept complaining about him in Anaheim, and he got his John kicked around in the playoffs every year except for one.
Well, I remember seeing an interview Steve Dangle did with he did one with Yeah, Rolf Reimer. And it was like, I guess, even if you're not a Leafs fan, it's like it's hard to like you want Reimer to come back. You want Reimer to shine. You wanted Reimer to be the guy.
He was.
He's a what, 4th round draft?
Third round. Actually, he was in the same third round as Kyle Clutterbuck, Brad Marchand, himself, and Steve Mason. Bam! There you go.
That draft round. Yeah, considering Brad Marchand became really good.
2006 was awful in the first round, but every round after, hey baby.
Now we got Steve Mason. He has a chance to be Philadelphia's sole starter for the next month and a half.
That's true. Yeah, I know he has a chance to, after Norberg's been stealing the show.
But back to the 3 young guys. That's it. Like, actually, if you want to even add a couple of the other young guys, like Zach Hyman, that's good. And you're going to talk about Kadri. It's a very young team, and they're playing as well as I'd expect them to. And they, it's hard work. You know, these guys are thrust into a role in their first year in the NHL. To basically be superstars, and like that's a hard thing. Like, you know what, some exceptional guys can do it, Crosby, Ovechkin, McDavid, those guys, but like the average player just can't do it that well. These guys are basically having to carry the load. Now, I love a guy like Zach Hyman's. Hyman's guy gets thrown into a lot of situations, and he does chip in goals. And of course, former OJHL superstar, played incredible. He played Canada in multiple international tournaments, a couple even smaller ones. Did they play in Israel? Is that what I read?
At the World Jewish Hockey Tournament, all three of the Hyman, Spencer, Cooper, and his brothers played with him too. So, Zach is a guy. He's a self-made type player, north-south. Mm-hmm. I'm sure, Dylan Larkin, his buddy from UMich, would have loved to have him with him in Detroit. But the Leafs Nation should be happy to have a guy like that. Works real hard. Can you find another Zach Hyman somewhere else? Maybe. But the bottom line is he's got his opportunity and he's earned it. So
guy with the same name, Zach Hyman, in the phone book. Hey, it's Zach Hyman. Hey, there's another one.
The Leafs have done a thing for the last couple of years. They'll get guys for cheap, or like Hyman was a cheap acquisition, and they'll just play really well. And maybe they're just short-term guys, but they do get the job done. And it's not like specific like Dominic Moore, Bates Battaglia, John Pohl. Back like 10 years ago, those were the guys that were really good.
Dominic Moore was a really good Leaf. Him, Andropov, and Ponikarovsky were a great line. 41 points, 67 points, 61 points, great.
Even Yannick Perreault, if you want to go even that far. A guy like you just get the job done in a couple years. Now, it's Brooks Lake who they sent down to the minors right off the bat. Do you think that maybe they could use him when the team is so young, an experienced guy like that who has played with some pretty key players?
Yeah, no, it's funny. I was thinking about that. They had Milan McCulloch and Brooks Lake. They're both at the Marlies right now. I don't know for whatever reason they decided to send them down, but
sorry, Jamie, I am gonna have to cut you off. Thank you very much though for coming on the show, and we'll definitely have you back again. That's it for Jamie on the show. We're gonna go to break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about Brendan's favorite segment, the CHL Roundup. So see you soon. Welcome back to the Hockey House. And Brendan.
Me.
I got something for you.
Well, it smells like Detroit, Minnesota, Buffalo, Islanders, Montreal, some guy from Australia, but without the L.
So I don't typically bring NHL jersey, thread, sweater, tuxedos ever. But this time I decided to. It's Thomas Vanek. Now, the story behind this one is I got this a couple days after he got traded to the Montreal Canadiens. They were selling this jersey, thread, sweater, whatever.
Did you get it on sale?
I did.
Oh, nice.
$26 at the Sabres Arena.
That's like 100 less than usual ones are.
Oh, no, for a name, it's really expensive. They were selling Michael Neuver for $250.
What the heck? What? He was a second-round pick in the same draft as James Reimer and Steve Mason went in. What the?
Yeah, that was a backwards pick. Anyways, it's your favorite part. The part where you talk about
dancing. I dance like this and this.
Bulgarian Hockey League Roundup.
Okay, so they were from Bulgaria. They had a hockey league. Okay.
I want to hear your Canadian Hockey League.
CHL?
Yes, the league that is not the Champions Hockey League.
Yes.
Anyways.
So my CHL round of the week, you know how it usually goes. It's WHL, it's OHL, it's QMJHL. Usually it goes in that order. I do my prospects, I do my players, I do my teams. So, like usual, starting the WHL. I know everyone's mad at the QMJHL because they never go first, but I'm saying I'm going to start the WHL. So, the WHL, my team of the week, and now I know everyone's going to be like, Brendan, you suck. I can't believe this is your team. Well, it's the Seattle Thunderbirds. I know people are going to be like, they're in last place in the wild card division. You suck. That's not your real hair. Well, it actually is, but I have a funny story how it became like this. No, I'm saying the Seattle Thunderbirds, so they're 6-4 in their last 10. Plus, they're finally getting all their players back. So they're getting Barzal back from the Islanders. They're finally getting Keegan Kolzar back from injury. I think he broke his body, but he's coming back now. And now they have all their players. They have Ethan Bear, they have Ryan Group, they have Scott Enster who's playing really good. Barzal's coming back, and they have Kolzar's coming back. So watch out. It's the same thing with what I said about Cape Breton a couple weeks ago. They're an exciting team to watch. So I think Seattle, I picked them to be a really good team. And I think the league did too, because they put them in their top 10 ranking before the season. But Seattle Thunderbirds from the WHL. So, oh my God, my OHL team. It's the Stan Butler Express, former Brampton. Now it's North Bay. So the North Bay Battalion. I know everyone's like this, but North Bay, are they even good? I'm glad you asked. Nobody, but yeah, it's actually okay this year. Now, I thought they were going to have a hangover just because Mike Amadio's not there, Santos isn't there, Kyle Wood's not there, Jake Smith's not there. They're doing great actually. They're doing really, really well. Brett McKenzie, former Oakville Ranger. I have a funny story about that. Oh, yeah. So Brett McKenzie, former first-round pick Brett Hargrave. You got Cameron Deneen, who's drafted the Phoenix Coyotes, or whatever they're called now, the Arizona Bobcats, or whatever they
The Cardinals.
Yeah, whatever. Harland, former, we actually saw him play on the Young Nats. This is a good story. He didn't played minor midget AAA, wasn't drafted. Played midget AAA for 2 years, then was drafted to North Bay, played junior A, he's the OHL, he's the best player on the team now. North Bay is my team there. So in the QMJHL, what's my team? St. John. Finally, St. John is playing okay. They've got all their players back.
Finally, you're going to be happy with that one.
I know, it's been 3 years. What have you guys been doing? They've traded all their good players.
How's the goaltending?
That's the weakest part of the St. John. The weakest part is their goaltending. I know they picked up for goalie in the first round last year. He's kind of edging his way. Joseph Leno's still injured, so we'll see what happens when he comes back. But they got Shabbat back, they have Zaboral back, they have Smallman, they have Noel.
Shabbat's actually playing for Canada in the Super Series.
Yes, he is. I hope he doesn't play for the World Junior team. Okay, so now my WHL player of the week. So my WHL player of the week, it's a goalie. Now, I wanted to say Carter Hart, but then I looked. Someone's even harder. It's Ingram from the Kamloops Blazers, Tampa Bay third-round pick.
Oh, Ingram on the...
Yeah, on Mississauga, too. Yes, the same guy. But no, he's playing really hot. It's hard to say if they'll be Team Canada's goalie because usually Canada goes for the goalie who's going to be the worst under pressure, and that's who they pick. But no, he's the top goalie in the WHL. I wanted to pick Carter Hart. He's playing really, really well too. Ingram's my player of the week there. OHL, who's my player of the week? Well, don't call me Cliff P-O-O. It's Cliff P-U. Cliff Boo! Yes, it's Cliff Boo. Is 30 points in 16 games plus 15. Buffalo is making it look like he got stolen in the third round. The guy is doing fantastic. Former first-round pick by Oshawa. Got traded to London. He's on fire right now in London. With a lot of ice time filled up, he's doing really, really good. So in the QMJHL, who's my player? Vincent. Now,
LeCavier.
Yes, Vincent Lanoux of the Victoriaville Tigers. So Victoriaville has a couple of good players. Maxime Comtois is supposed to be one of them. He's having kind of a rough year.
Yeah, after a great...
he's a great player. I think he's just going through a stretch right now where it's not doing well. But Vincent Lanoux, he's a defenseman. The team average is -5. He's a +14, has 18 points in 22 games as a defenseman. My player of the week there. So, my prospect of the week, my favorite part. Let's see. Out of all the players Brendan told got cut from the Ivan Lincoln team, which one is doing really, really well right now? Well, kids, this is always to let you know Brendan Saunders is always right. Cody Glass, 30 points in 21 games, +10. Cody Glass is doing outstanding. And if you remember, way back, he's one of the players I told you, yeah, why did he get cut? He was a great player. He shouldn't have got cut. He was a great player. And Canada lost that tournament. So good job, Canada. Oh my God, they anger me in so many different ways. Okay, so OHL Prospect of the Week. This will make our producer Ryan happy. I'm finally going with Owen Tippett. Hurrah!
He's a good player.
He is actually a good player.
He's having a great season. He's a guy that we saw play minor midget. Yeah, really good.
Couple times. We actually saw him play minor midget when he was in grade 9.
Saw him play junior A too.
Yeah, junior Canadians, Toronto Red Wings. Yeah, so Owen Tippett, 23 points in 19 games. Great player in the QMJHL. My player of the week. My prospect of the week. My prospect of the week. So my prospect of the QMJHL. My prospect of the week is the QMJHL. I've said him before, but I'm going to say Declan Smith. I really like Declan Smith. I wish someone would take a look at him.
That's all we have today for CHL. That's all we have for today, actually. Don't forget to visit thehockeyhost.net for all episodes of the TV show. And make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. I'm Stephen Ellis.
I'm Brendan Saunders.
Thanks for watching.